What's up, everybody? I'm DC Carson, and welcome to this video that we're going to be talking about quantizing. Not so much quantizing, but we actually will be, the right word is feel. All right, so the one thing, before we get started, like and subscribe, as well as you can find me on Instagram, as well as Facebook, DC Carson Music. So just welcome into this space. We're gonna talk about some great stuff today, and just something I wanted to share when it comes to making music. All right, let's jump into it. One of the things I've been saying, especially, is that you can kind of see where I've got like my old school ASR 10, MPC 3000, but I also have like the Key 61, a lot of old school stuff because I'm a vintage head, but I like the newer stuff. And the biggest thing that they chase, like even when they came up with this 3000, this MPC 3000, a lot of it was about feel. You'll hear people talk about that a lot. I'm looking for feel. I'm trying to get the feel that Dre had, or let's say Teddy Riley, or even the newer things that people are trying to get there. Here's a secret behind that. A lot of time, the machine can give you stuff like, for example, there are certain settings in there, the quantize, as far as the sequence and how it places notes within post per quarter notes. So you'll see that in there. And the newer ones have a broad place to put it in, but the older ones, not so much. But even in that, you can give it a feel of where the notes are going to go. All right. So the thing is that a lot of people want to program and use the settings inside, and they'll switch them around and do different things like that. But here's the thing: what I want to sit back and say to you is that a lot of old school people, even when they had the drum machine, like Prince using the LM1, as well as other people using those drum machines. You'll see the DMX type of drum machines from back in the day, where they're doing the old school crush groove type of beats, if you know what I mean. Sometimes, while they would program that drum and that snare, that they would play in like hi-hats, or they would play in like shakers or maracas or stuff like that. And so part of this video, I want to encourage you to do that. I'm going to encourage all of you is to play around with it, because really that's how you're going to get the feel. Even with me, I will practice with a metronome, but then I'll turn it off, because it's building. Like, you have to begin to develop that swing. And here's why I'm going to say, especially as a newer person, it's important to take a look at creating feel, not the quantize from the machine, which is not bad. It's you developing your feel, because once you learn to develop a feel, then you can get on any machine and still be able to create something that has feeling, that has groove. I know a lot of stuff, music these days, a lot of trap music, a lot of stuff is like right on the beat, and they may shuffle it around or do stuff, and that's fine. Well, I'm sitting here saying, if you want to start getting really into like another level, being able to program it yourself and being able to put your own feel to it, there's an advantage to that, just the same as like making your own sound. So that when you start, like I was listening to Rodney Jerkins talk about in a video about how when he would work with Michael Jackson was kind of frustrated. I'm tired of hearing the same song, same snare sounds. I'm tired of hearing that. Go to and Rodney Jerkins like, what do you want me to do? And it's like, well, like go to a junkyard and just like beating on stuff and start hitting on things. And he did that. He took a DAT, and if you don't, that's a digital audio tape from back in the day, and you have to take a microphone. It's basically like a recorder, but it's a digital tape. And he would record sounds, and he said that worked. And if you listen to a lot of stuff, that's how, like Marvin Gaye's Keep On Dancing, he found that bottle, where it goes, tick, 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 that bottle sound. He found that bottle on the way to the studio. So I want to encourage you is that get creative with that. But back to what we're talking about is get creative with, start playing around with moving notes around. Great thing about the newer MPCs is you can use a nudge feature but take it off the grid and you can move notes around. Like, for example, I play piano, I play guitar, I play a lot of different instruments. But when I come to like playing bass lines or keyboard, I will not use quantize feature. And even if I do, I never set it at 100%. I may do 85 or 90%. And on an MPC, maybe 50, 54, if I'm trying to give it more of a swing. Then you can get into 62. But mainly, I like to take it off because I can scoot the notes around. Because as a piano player, you're never going to play all your notes right at once. And having a roll on into your chord, that adds such a feel to it. But being able to listen to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, when they were talking about programming stuff, a lot of the Janet Jackson stuff, and some of the stuff, they played it all the way through. And it gives it a grill, it gives it feeling, it gives it movement, it gives you pushing before or behind a beat, especially if it's something that you're trying to get to get people to get up and dance and that kind of stuff. So I want to encourage you to even in a DAW, I use Cubases, and I use Cubase, and I can click on a note and then use my mouse, the wheel on the mouse, to scoot it forward or backwards. I can move stuff with serious precision, but sometimes it's just enough precision to be able to give it a groove, give it a feel, make your snare a little later, or maybe your snare a little earlier, or even play around with where you put your kick. So I encourage you to experiment with that. Try to play around with feel, and there's some phenomenal things that you can come up with, especially if you want to do R&B. I do think R&B, a lot of it is about feel, so we get back to it. So again, just kind of to recap, this is your boy DC Carson, and I'm just going to encourage you to turn off quantize, turn off some things. Sometimes turn off the metronome and just scoot notes around, play around with it, and see what you can come with. Because at the end of the day no matter what computer system you're using, algorithm, I know we're getting into this AI thing, your feel means something. There is not really a system that can properly replace you doing feels. The whole thing with James Brown and all those things, the breath, the Michael Jackson, all those things, the breath just coming in there and giving it groove. You can't replace that. Even I always say that to you, is that if you're recording with your nose, don't line everything up. It's okay. Human beings aren't perfect, and sometimes that little, I call it ear candy, that feel will add a substance to your song that people won't know what it is, but it may not even be anything audible, but you can feel it. Because the thing about with music, it is about feel. So I encourage you, take off the quantize, or if you do, just do the kick, snare, move that around a little bit, and then for everything else, just play it live. Play a 2-bar or a 4-bar, but the main thing is, I'm gonna tell you what music is, just to have fun. Hey, I thank y'all for taking some time watching my video. This is your boy DC Carson, and we will chop it up soon. Have a good